Absolutely. And I couldn't agree more. So, part of what I fall into the trap, I wake up every day, 5 a.m., get my coffee, open up my social media, sit there, let the house wake up, and it's just always just so full of people's personal opinions. And what draws me in is the fact that I'm like, these people don't know what they're talking about. How can they have so many followers? How can they have so many people giving and feeding into what started as a BS comment that's kind of based on just their personal opinion and not any history behind it, definitely not any facts behind it, just solely how people feel.
I'm just annoyed that these jabronis, they get to go appear on WWE Network or on their shows on A&E and sit next to Booker T or whoever and talk about the latest episode on A&E Biography, or the pregame show is call it to before the pay-per-views. It's like, the hell has Sam done in his life?
Right.
Nothing. He's got curly hair. Like,
Right.
what the?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just annoyed right now.
Hey, Steph.
Coming in.
Hey, Steph, are you coming in today? I have your apparel order here, and I did say you are welcome to come slap me if you do come in. I will sign the waiver, so.
Nice.
Yes, for those out there in Twitter world and social media, if you were to make your way to McHenry, Illinois, during one of our tapings, Tom here is willing to to get chopped on air. He's already had it done a couple times.
Ric Flair chop or a giant slap, your
Yeah,
choice.
yeah, either way. So tune in,
I
come
think
in,
Addie
stop
had
by,
the best,
and
right?
yeah, my daughter.
She
came
didn't
in
want to
there.
stop.
Nah, she got you. And she was giving you the woo chops.
I know.
She like
It is.
Charlotte Flair, just lighting you
What
up.
would I ever do to you? Like, I've been ice and
Good
Man.
sound. Oh, it was
Yeah.
good sound. Yeah, absolutely.
that was great sound, yeah.
She says, "See you in 10."
Sounds good.
I believe
Looking
her,
forward
too.
to it.
That's
Awesome. So to we're talking about is Triple H pulling a Kahn, and a Kahn as in a Tony Khan.
So, if you've been following AEW, watching the last year and a half or so, every week Tony Khan pretty much has taken a released WWE superstar, mainly now from NXT, and just kind of debuting them and showing like, hey, look, we got they're going to be their prize toy in the main roster. They're now one of ours. Like, we snatched them or whatever. So now Triple H lately on Raw and SmackDown has been taking these released NXT stars that never signed on with another company and kind of giving you glimpses of them in the crowd, sneaking up from behind, security escorting them out. And like last night, he had one of their biggest surprises, no announcement whatsoever, of Johnny Gargano just back from commercial break. There's his theme song and music playing, and he out walks the ring. He's probably one of the bigger NXT stars not to sign with anyone as a free agent, and I think that was a big win for WWE to keep him. He's been a prized pupil of Triple H and Shawn Michaels over there, and I think they're going to show, like, hey, guys, over in AEW, look what happens when you come back now. It's not Vince's show. It's our show, how we ran in NXT, where we made you superstars, and you had the fan base, you have the loyalty. We're not going to give you a crappy gimmick like they did with Karrion Kross when he first got called up.
Yeah.
And look, you're already a main eventer.
So as far as Triple H pulling a Kahn, right? So one of the biggest gripes that most WWE fans have had with AEW and Tony Khan specifically, and was they started up as we're wrestlers, right? And they had their core group of people.
The four pillars.
The four pillars, and they were building on that. And then all of a sudden, WWE starts shaking the tree, and people start falling off here and there. AEW is grabbing this person, almost weekly, one or two people. It seemed like, until the roster is just like so bloated with quote unquote talent that WWE released that it's just being flooded with people. There's no real story with those people. They're on
It's
Dark,
like they
they're on Rampage.
Bring them
they're
out to
this, that.
see what the kind of reaction they get, and then maybe give them one or two shows. And if they're still not feeling they're getting that same pop or reaction, then okay, next guy.
Right.
And they go to the well too many times with the CM Punks, the Daniel Bryans, Bryan Danielson.
So here's the thing about that. Don't you think WWE went to the well with them a few times, which is why they were released in the first place? They weren't drawing. They weren't getting the crowd reaction. They weren't selling the merchandise. And then it was everyone just thought that, well, they weren't being booked right. Their presentation wasn't right. So now they get the freedom, they get the chance in AEW to shine. and only a handful of them actually have. But they were built off star power anyways, whether it was CM Punk, of course. The guy takes 7 years off, and it's gonna be a big impact. He could have went to
returns back to
Impact or
Chicago.
Ring of Honor, or he could have been at the bingo hall making a return, and it would have been a huge deal because he left wrestling. So anyhow, but then you got your Daniel Bryan, and you got your they were already stars. John
Jericho,
Moxley, Jericho, they were already stars. So those guys leaving are not re-signing, of course. But your Keith Lees, your Athenas, your Ruby Sohos, there's so many of them that I think they were like a Miro, right? So why? I just don't get it. So they go there, and they're just kind of shown to be exactly what WWE said they were, which is they don't pull numbers, they don't pull viewers, they're not selling merchandise, and now they're stuck with all of these people, all of these great wrestlers, but
Well, in
not
fairness,
great performers.
What I would say with that, though, is when Vince called them up, he gave them shit in one hand to work with. Literally, it's like, here's your new persona. Like, everything that you built in NXT, which the common sense fan would be like, just bring that gimmick that's been working for you into the main roster. It'll continue to work for you instead of completely change. Because, like, look at Butch. Peter Dunne was great in NXT. Actually, he had a decent fan base, and then all of a sudden they bring him in, and he's Sheamus's little sidekick that they even nicknamed the Rabbit Wolverine. It got some controversy with the Chris Benoit. Chris Benoit, we could say that on this show.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Say whatever you want.
Yes, but it's like what Vince has done with some of these guys, and I find it very interesting now. Where last night they had Dexter take out the Miz in the stands or whatever. So now Ciampa or whatever. Ciampa. I can't. Tommaso. I can't pronounce these. So you got Tommaso right now by himself. Gargano's back. They had a great rivalry. They were a good tag team. Great tag team. I don't like the gimmick with the Miz, but now this could be like, okay, we're going to start transitioning you. And the same thing with KO. It's like Triple H is now protecting KO, bringing back the prize fighter instead of whatever antics they were doing.
Yeah. So, okay. So is Triple H pulling the Kahn though? So, no, he's not, because he's not taking the same people who were in AEW and aren't making it or coming out of their contracts and bringing them back.
But he is taking the same people
They're
in
the people
essence
he hired
from
initially.
from NXT, that were free
Yeah.
to go.
So NXT, if you look at the main roster, and over the past 10 years, most of WWE's main roster were from NXT.
Right.
So all of your main guys, Roman, Seth, everybody, they were all NXT. Almost all the women, with the exception of Ronda, were NXT women.
Right.
So the fact that he is taking the reins back and is pushing the people that he hired initially anyways, and is kind of maybe taking what he had planned for them initially and now just bumped them up to the main roster because he can. I don't think he's missing. Now, the people he's brought back, though, so Karrion Kross, I didn't really watch too much of NXT when he was there, and honestly, they were kind of failing, right? They were getting beat by AEW with Karrion Kross and with Keith Lee and them, you know. But I'm intrigued.
Right.
Now, I wasn't intrigued when he came up with the red demolition mask or whatever he was doing. I'm like, okay, that's weird, but now I'm intrigued, and he's immediately in the
Main
title
event
picture, the
and-
main event. Dexter Loomis, I don't really know anything about, but I'm intrigued by like how they're presenting him. Like there's a mystery behind it. Gargano, he had great matches. Matter of fact, me and Gabe were in Chicago at the NXT takeover where Ciampa turned his back on him, so we got to see all that, and there's skill there. There's just not a lot of personality necessarily. But they're going to do something with him to make him shine. So I don't think long story short, I don't think he's pulling a Kahn because he's not taking wrestlers that were released by other companies necessarily that weren't already within WWE's umbrella of companies anyways. He just now has the power to do it, what he wanted to do in NXT, but on a bigger scale. And he's doing a pretty good job at it right now.
So far, yeah,
First
it's like
few
every
weeks.
week you want to watch. I like the slow build that they're doing with Dexter, especially, and it's not like here he is and go. It's what was that like? Why were they doing that camera angle?
Right. Mhm.
All right, so this is planned because they did that camera angle because it wasn't planned. They
Yeah.
would immediately cut.
One thing I was talking to Sally about it was when you watch Raw and SmackDown right now, when they're doing backstage segments, you have to pay attention to what's
Right.
going on in the background. A lot of things. There was one time they were walking by and a garbage can was on fire. There was a car accident in the
Right.
back. There was a hand just kind of sticking out in the back, which was Dexter or possibly
Bray
or like
is-
maybe Bray, but it was. Everyone wants everything to be
Right.
Bray. If a fly goes past the screen, oh
that's
my
right.
God, that was Bray Wyatt.
Hey, I could have sworn during the Viking Reigns promo, like I was watching it live.
Now Sarah Logan.
No, not the person. The altar. I could have sworn there was a photo of Bray Wyatt underneath the altar, like in his flannel and a hat. I could have sworn I saw that face on TV. Then I go watch it numerous times on YouTube or WWE's
tell you
website.
right
I
now.
couldn't find it at all. I could have sworn I saw it right there.
I'll tell you right now, if they bring Bray Wyatt back and he's somehow partnered with the Viking Raiders, that's not going to work.
Well, it's not. Well, the way how they were going about it was more like they're going to lose the Viking Raiders gimmick and be more like Wyatt Family 2.0.
I could see it. They got to lose the face paint, though,
Right.
too. Yeah.
Ah,
You like the
I like. You got to have some face paint.
No.
You need some
Ultimate
character.
Warrior and Road Warriors,
Sting and
Sting. That's about it.
Danhausen.
No.
I know that's your guy, but
He's my guy. I love Danhausen. Danhausen, if you're watching, please join us every other Tuesday night, second, fourth Tuesday night. We'd love to have you on
It's
as
like
a guest.
saying Packer fans, you gotta paint your body, your fat body.
hey, man.
Big giant green
It's the
cheese
middle of
man.
winter. You gotta do it. The frozen tundra.
Definitely. All right, so is Triple H trying to pull a Kahn? I don't think so. You think he is?
I think he's doing what Kahn should have done with the release talent and bring them in and not be more selective with who he has.
I'll give you that. He definitely should have been more selective because it seemed like just anyone who was released, boom, they're all elite as soon as
Their
90
name,
days
yeah.
was up.
I mean, and that's where right now it's a lot like WCW. And transitioning into that is what they're doing tomorrow night. They're giving away a free pay-per-view, high-quality pay-per-view match for free tomorrow night on TBS.
Why?
Why? A lot of, you could say marks or whatever online, and I would agree with them. This is too eerie of WCW Goldberg versus Hogan. You're giving a 1 week build. You have the pay-per-view, next weekend in Chicago. I know tomorrow night it's in Cleveland. Moxley's hometown. Does he win there? And then do they do the rematch? Do you have MJF show up at the end? Lots of interesting stuff there, but
They can't be doing it just to try to break 1 million. 1 week.
the rumor is where they're up for a new TV deal. And you have WWE talking about possibly joining up with Netflix when their contract's up with SmackDown on Fox and Raw on USA.
Yeah.
Streaming's a new thing. I mean, it's now surpassed ratings for network TV.
So you think a one-off pay-per-view caliber title match between which people are expecting for the pay-per-view?
I think Dexter Loomis just walked in here.
Oh, no, that's
And we've
came to-
got
she came to
Steph
give you
from
the test
Steph's
shot.
books.
Steph's Books right here.
that
Come say hi,
shop.
Steph, if you like.
That's it. Well, everybody knows Steph.
We're live on Twitter now, so you are now a new twit.
Yeah.
Twit.
You got that microphone
I don't have. This is like one of the few shows.
that you have not been on.
Well, that one I haven't been on, but also two, like
Nothing
You
to
don't watch, do
contribute.
you?
I don't know. Like the last time I watched something on WWE was when Mankind first came out as a new character.
That's mostly what we talk about, though.
That's right.
It's that generation, that
like,
era.
That was probably the last time I watched. So I don't know.
And
what
why
year
haven't you
that
watched
was.
it since?
Good name drop there too. By the way.
That was good. And we appreciate you watching and listening.
Why haven't I watched?
Yeah, why haven't you watched since then?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Well, because my brother used to be a big fan, and then so I'd watch with my brother, and then when my brother stopped watching, I just kind of stopped watching. I mean, my dad took me and my brother to an event once, and we got to see it at Rosemont and stuff.
And you didn't want to go back again and re-experience that, or?
I think it was like a one and done life experience. I'm gonna remember it forever.
There you go.
You're going to
I
cherish
didn't want to like ruin the excitement and then keep going and going, and then it's not as exciting.
Well, did you go to WrestleMania? Was that your first one you went to, or was it?
No, I think it was like just a normal thing,
Normal show. Okay.
like a Monday Night Raw kind of thing.
Okay.
Right? Can you go watch those?
Yeah.
Okay. Then yeah.
Yes.
All right, so our mission is to get Steph to become a WWE or wrestling.
AEW.
Just a sports entertainment fan.
Yeah.
I watched that one show. What was that show on E?
Total Divas.
Total
Yeah,
Divas.
I've seen that show.
I mean, that hooked a lot of women
Ink
back in to
Master.
watch it.
I watched that.
I still watch it.
Is it,
I have no shame.
I watched it before I came over here.
Yeah.
so when they were filming the show and then they would go do the matches, then you guys would watch the matches and then like
Well, they did the
see parts and
matches.
snippets.
It was from 6 months or 4 months prior when
Oh.
the show airs, so it's
So then when you watch
back.
the show, then when you're like, oh, I remember that match
Yeah.
or I was
Sure.
there.
right. Yes, they
Were you
give
at
more of
one
the
of them?
backstory.
Probably. But that's not why you watch Total Divas if you're a man.
Well,
No, you watch it. You watch it for the
I don't
articles.
really care what happened.
You watch it for the articles.
Yeah, for the articles. I'd watch it because they got like really great personalities.
They do. Great personalities, great bodies. So,
so
that's
who
all.
runs the WWE now? Didn't Vince McMahon, he stepped down, right? Or no?
So Vince
Retired.
retired.
Uh-huh.
Big quotation marks. He's still owner, majority share owner with stock. Right now, it's pretty much a three-headed monster of Stephanie, his daughter, son-in-law Triple H, and Kahn,
What's his name?
Nick
Jason.
Kahn.
Oh, wait, they
Not
really
Tony
got
Khan,
married?
Nick Kahn. Yeah, they
Oh,
got
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that wasn't like story. That was real?
No,
was-
It was
both.
both.
See, you know more than you think you do.
So a lot of times what wrestling does
It's a
is
guilty pleasure. It's okay. You can talk about it here.
That's right. That's what the show.
There's no judgment here.
It's a safe place here.
so what wrestling does a lot of times they bring actual real life stories into it, into their storylines. So like there's wrestlers that were having affairs.
So apparently, Vince McMahon's affairs turned out to actually be, those weren't just stories.
No.
Those actually
I guess
happened.
not.
Well,
So it's just like when an undercover cop gets too deep and then he starts really like,
If you know what I mean.
you know,
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Training day.
Yeah. He went. Yeah. So that's what happened to Vince.
It's
he wasn't.
exactly like that.
Yeah, he didn't intend to have affairs. It was in the storyline.
It was in
and
the
he had to
storyline.
get
and
into
just-
character.
once you
You know,
it's like-
hey,
Can't break character.
Look, Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt, right? They're in a movie together where they're in a relationship. Hey,
Look what happens.
things happen.
That's right.
Life happens.
Got Alec Baldwin. Oh no, he.
You wanna slap
He just
him?
shot somebody.
Oh
You're-
no.
You don't
No, I
wanna
got
chop on the
you get to
chest?
slap me.
No, I don't know how this whole thing works. I thought like you were gonna have like a chair or something.
We have the green room over there.
like a folding chair.
They hit him.
Oh.
All right, you want a folding? Oh. You want a folding chair? You can hit
Right?
me with the
Isn't that
folding
the
chair. You
rules?
can hit me with the belt. You can whatever.
Or like I thought you'd have like a table where it has like kind of already like a little bit of like a
Hey, they don't do that.
like softness to it, and then like I'm gonna push you over onto it or something.
What are you talking about?
You know.
We specifically said Ric Flair chop or giant slap.
Floor.
All right. Well, thanks you guys so much.
Yeah, no
right.
problem. Thanks.
Good
Steph.
seeing
We'll
ya.
keep
Thanks
Stanley
for stopping
Conley
by.
from In the Know with Steph and Joe right here Fridays at 3 p.m. Tune in. 21.6 in it.
Maybe they'll be on Twitter soon too.
Maybe they can be twitched. Shoot.
You got?
You need help? You got it. She's got it. We'll have
got it.
we'll have one of the pages help you out. Thanks, Jimmy.
Is that little Jimmy?
Yeah, little Jimmy.
Little Jimmy. Thanks, little Jimmy.
Appreciate it, Gargano.
All right, so Moxley and Punk. We were talking about that and why they would want to do that.
Give away
Wednesday.
pretty much free TV instead of on the
But
paper.
did you see him square off? Punk. This is why I don't like Punk. He's almost laughing. He's you know, as they're sitting there headbutting each other and getting each other's face, and I'm like, see, man, you're just not selling it to me. And it's always been my problem with that guy.
And I agree with you, Ken, because like for me with Punk, great talker.
Yeah.
Like his shirts, like his theme song, everything else about the guy, I just can't stand.
Yeah.
And I mean, he is a punk.
Yep.
And even though we share the same idol in Bret Hart, I don't like what he's doing to him. He's bastardizing Bret Hart, and like all these tributes he's trying to do, he's copying Bret Hart match per match,
Just about right.
almost identical to his previous matches. And it's like, you could see how choreographed it is with him. He has no skill.
Yeah.
The GTS is a horrible finishing maneuver. I mean, and right now he's the biggest hypocrite. So right now what I'm going to do is say, CM Punk, Phil Brooks, chime into our show right now. Talk to me right now. Where are you at, fucker? Just what he did with Heyman Page. It pissed me off. Beyond, just pissed me off. He goes in the middle of that ring. Oh, now I'm wound up.
Yeah. Where's stuff at? Someone come
Where's
chop
stuff?
it.
Now I
Someone
need to
come
chop.
it.
No, he just sits in the ring there and calls out Heyman Page for not respecting the veterans. Pretty much is what it boils down to. And he knows Heyman Adam Page isn't going to come out. He knows he's not ready or isn't even going to be name dropped at that point. And he's just doing it because he's a tool. And that's what I'm saying. Call me right now, Phil. Chime in our show. Tweet us, whatever your freaking name is, bastard. But it's just I can't stand the guy. I cannot stand this bastard.
Yeah.
And
I really feel about him.
well, let me tell you something, brother. I'll tell you how I feel about that.
Tom is like, you talk about my mom, you talk about my kids, but you do not bastardize Brett the Hitman.
You don't. You cannot do that to the excellence of execution. Oh, it infuriates me when he's wearing the pink and black, and oh my god, it's just stop, Punk. But
He's a fraud. There's nothing
he is a
wrong.
fraud.
There's nothing wrong
He
with
is
Punk
the
about
biggest
him.
hypocrite. He's still living in the past from 11 years ago. Triple H said what he was 11 years ago. It's true to this day. John Cena said the exact same thing.
Roman
CM
Reigns
Punk,
said the same thing about him. Everyone has said the same thing about him.
there's a reason why he doesn't have friends. There's a reason why he wasn't signed for so long. I think there's some truth to Moxley saying, yeah, he ran out of money. He needed to sell some more merch. What merch is he selling? The stuff he had back in WWE 10 years ago.
Yep.
What song does he have? The song he had back in WWE. He is not original.
Right.
He is milking everything that he did in the past, which he has called out The Rock and other great superstars for doing. He has become what he has despised. And you know what? I do not respect that man at all. I don't care. I don't even care about their championship match tomorrow night. I don't care about his championship match if he is still going to wrestle in Chicago next week. The only match I care about on that card is Bryan Danielson and Y2J. That's the match I want to see. If I go to that show, I may not. I will leave right after that match. I will not stay and watch John Cena versus Triple H at WrestleMania 22. I did not stay and watch John Cena versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 23. I left before those matches.
Man.
I did catch the entrances, but I left during the match because I cannot stand them at all.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not walking out of any of those matches, but anyways.
Plus, you don't have the traffic either.
What are you, 85
We're gonna
years
leave
old?
early so we can beat the traffic. I get it.
Damn right.
I always
Is
hey,
he wearing his New Balance?
Hey man, even in my mid-20s, I would leave concerts before the encore because I knew the traffic getting out of there was gonna be a pain in the ass. So I've always had that back in my mind. But Green Bay Packer games. We drive up to Lambeau. We've only been there a handful of times. Third quarter comes, end of third quarter. All right, let's go. We'll listen to this on the radio while we're out here. Anyways, yeah, man, I agree. So Punk's return, huge.
Huge.
It was huge. I watched. I bought the pay-per-view, and I'm not an AEW fan, and I spent $60
I had
watching
genuine
the event.
excitement of it.
Yep, absolutely. But yeah, he's done everything that he hates, and he hasn't put over any young talent. He's
Not at all.
basically buried everybody, and here we go with John Moxley, Dean Ambrose versus CM Punk for the AEW Championship. Two former WWE superstars,
Who couldn't draw.
right, no AEW talent, right?
Right.
See, to me, he's not built like a champion.
He never was.
I know. That's
And
why I don't like
That's
the
why
guy.
he never was given that opportunity.
That's why
to shine.
he may have been at the time the longest reigning champion, 430 something days or
Days,
whatever.
yeah.
But then, there's a reason why he lost to The Rock at the Royal Rumble, because we all knew The Rock can draw at WrestleMania.
Yeah. The Rock can draw anywhere. You can be at Burger King
Pretty
right now,
much
be a million
drawing.
people.
And no one wants to see CM Punk main event WrestleMania.
I want to see him take on Eugene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you know
I'd rather
what?
see Logan Paul main event WrestleMania.
So
There
what's
you go.
gonna happen though? So you
There we
watch Dynamite, you watch Rampage when you can. You're in tune. You're the
Right.
AEW part of this show. So the match happens tomorrow. What happens?
So for me,
Where do they go from here?
watching where they had, he won the belt, beat Heyman Adam Page, got injured during the match. Has been off TV for how long? Like most of the summer.
Yep.
Comes back a couple weeks ago. Rumors are still is not healed from the ankle surgery or foot surgery, whatever he had. He either is still hurt and he has to drop the belt and he's going to be gone a lot longer, and this is a way to kind of do it. Or the other plan was, the long-term plan was he was supposed to feud with MJF. That got delayed. They need to have a big draw for that pay-per-view still. Do they do a triple threat? Do they do a fatal four-way with? Because right now there's nothing for Heyman Adam Page. There's nothing really for Punk and Moxley after this. So is that where MJF comes in too, where they kind of do a double
Let
feud?
me ask you something though. So MJF has been completely wiped clean of AEW.
Correct.
They have not mentioned his name since they came back from commercial.
Removed him from website. And
So that's a Warner Brothers thing. They said, well, supposedly, you need to get this guy out of here. He is not welcome on the TV station, period. So Punk wins tomorrow. MJF comes out, challenges him. There's no... When is the pay-per-view? Next weekend? 2 weekends from now?
Good, Labor
Yep.
Day.
Yeah, where's the... There's no build to it.
There's
And
no-
I'm
or
not
that-
excited. I'm excited to see MJF, but if he comes back tomorrow, that excitement is gone by Friday.
And
Like
I think
he came back.
too,
So I don't like CM Punk. So to see
Right.
him and Punk fight in Chicago and probably Punk beat him because he's not putting over anybody
right.
in Chicago. Like then what do they do? I feel
Because
like
I
they've backed
see-
themselves in this weird corner by having him be their champion.
The only thing I see with this whole MJF thing is they want him to be the heel. The only way he is getting booed is wrestling Punk in Chicago, because Chicago is filled with a bunch of idiot fans.
That's true.
Just kidding. We love you, Chicago.
No,
Please
I
tune
don't.
in every
I used,
Doesn't
I
matter
used to
which
work
sport.
for a,
Doesn't matter which
yes.
team.
I used to be with a professional sports team for years. Chicago has idiot fans. I will say that. No question, no doubt about it. Philadelphia, a little bit worse. But Chicago, horrible fans.
Horrible.
But that's the only way I can see how they get MJF back to the heel. Not
Time to play the game.
I think I stayed with your thing.
It's all about the game and how you play it. All about control. And if you can take it, all about your debt. And if you can play it, it's all about pain. And who's gonna make it? I am the game. You
Time to play the game. Best of, worst of, right here. 21.6net. Let me tell you something, brother. All right, guys. Here's what I got this week. Best of. I just want the two best. The two best.
Okay.
You're looking at him.
Wrestling families in the history of pro wrestling.
Well,
You know what I'm going to say.
Yeah. You know, when I brought this up, I was like, I know he's going to say the Harts, but
well, Anoa'i.
I like them. Yeah.
The Rock's family, obviously the Wild Samoans, the Usos, Umaga, Rock.
Reigns.
Yeah, Roman Reigns,
Roman
obviously.
Reigns in there, yeah.
I mean, the Rocky Johnson, all them. So High Chief Peter Maivia, all them.
Yeah. I like them there, yeah.
So there's a best. And then you know what? Just because they just popped in my head, and I was a big fan of Texas Tornado, so I'll go with the Von Erichs.
The Von Erichs, yeah. They're good. I mean,
Best.
you what? Fritz Von Erich, you got Kerry Von Erich, Kevin Von Erich, David Von Erich. Yes, yeah. Yeah. Tough.
And let me see here. Let me open up my WWE trivia book written by Thomas Odell.
That was not, no.
Who is the greatest wrestling family of all time?
The one they made a
born-
video of, the anthology of.
Born in the dungeon up there in
Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
Up in the dungeon.
Go ahead.
So, for me,
With a tear in his eye over there.
Man, why you gotta be like that, man?
That's it.
Dude, that kind of hurts.
Go ahead.
Hurts. I don't know. I want an apology.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. I got that recorded. All right. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm going to say the Harts. I mean, with what they've done for the business, they've had their own promotion, kind of like the Von Erichs, but up in Canada. I always liked their style of wrestling. I was always drawn to their style of wrestling. Von Erichs, I wasn't so much. But, I mean, they weren't the Calgary Stampede Wrestling. It wasn't really the big muscle-building guys. It was more technicality matches, submission holds, grappling, and stuff like that. And that's like stuff I feel I can do. I could be that average-looking guy or whatever, average-built kind of guy. Oh, like the Von Erichs, they were more like the Roid Ragers. In a way.
Sure.
Yeah, they were
They
crazy.
built up. They were the powerhouses doing monster body slams and all this other stuff.
Nothing in that family ended positively, if I can recall.
You know, no, can you name a wrestling family that has?
Well,
The Guerreros.
the one I named first.
I mean, they've had death and stuff too, and controversy there. I mean, but it's like, I mean, it's all, it's part of the business in a way. I mean, in a way, it's a blessing and a curse.
Sure.
I don't know. The Ortons have been pretty clean, haven't they, as a family?
No, not Bobby. He's a little dirty.
Dirty.
Is there a second family?
The second family, I mean, that's where you took the own family, so I'm going to try to do something else. Do I just go with McMahon? With what all he's done and the genius, what they've done? I mean, Shane and Stephanie, they competed. They put their bodies on the line.
Yeah.
Sure.
Vince and Shane wouldn't do anything that they wouldn't ask someone else to do.
That's actually a great answer.
So-
I wasn't even thinking about them. And now even son-in-law Triple H.
Right.
I mean, you know, it carries.
It's that legacy, and it's. I mean, now you have the Rhodes family. I mean, it's only 3 of them.
Yeah.
And it took many years for that to really develop because Dustin had, 25 years where he never blossomed
Right.
in a way. I mean, yeah, he was gold
Shout
dust.
out to
but
him, though, because he's going to be fighting for the Ring of Honor Heavyweight
heavyweight champion.
Championship.
He's never
It
fought
is.
for a title. Yeah, I
Right,
mean,
never had it. So again, love to see
Yeah,
Ring
yeah.
of Honor and AEW putting over that young talent.
wow. Or are they actually rewarding someone who's never had the opportunity?
Hey, man, you had your chance.
Did he ever?
That's right.
Sure, he's
But, I
been
mean,
back
for
and
him,
forth.
like-
he's been in AEW for a few years. They never gave him a chance.
That's because he's related to the brother. you
Come
know?
on. Anyways,
But I mean, like for him, though, what he has done in the last few years, he's been in the best shape of his life.
Sure.
I mean, yeah, he let himself go in the late '90s, early 2000s. Did the DDP yoga, got healthy again, and I mean, he looks great.
sure.
Yeah.
Watchability is still like his brother's more entertaining. Little bro, there's something about little brothers; they're just more entertaining. Sorry, Dave,
Yeah.
but our show's way more entertaining than your show.
All right. So, you
Dave
know,
was the gold
you know who I'm
dust while
going with?
You were the
You know who I'm going with?
Stardust.
Y'all may not remember this family, the Armstrongs.
Oh, you got
Yeah.
Right. So you had Bullet Bob Armstrong,
Jesse James.
Road Dogg, Scott Armstrong, Brad Armstrong, Steve Armstrong. These were big staples back in the 80s.
Stretch Armstrong.
Stretch, yeah. And they were big in tag team. No one really stood out on their own, but you know, Bob was just that kind of big, well put together dude, and he'd wrestle with his sons, and they'd win championships all the time. Always down there in Georgia, the Georgia Championship Wrestling.
You and your Georgia.
I know, I love it.
You're a Southern Peach, aren't you, Ken?
That's it. And then you know who doesn't get enough love is the Lawler family, right?
Yep.
I mean, Jerry the King, Brian Christopher, and
Grandmaster Sexy.
and the Honky Tonk Man.
Yeah. You know, I don't think
Right?
I realized that Honky Tonk Man. What was he? A
Cousin,
brother or cousin?
wasn't he a cousin?
Let me see what it says. You know, Jerry played for the Browns too.
Really?
Yeah, he was with the Browns.
Yeah,
Wow.
pro football player.
Now, Jerry the King Lawler. I mean, he's done a lot for wrestling. I mean, a lot.
All right.
Even the with the Andy Kaufman,
Kaufman,
stuff
yeah.
back in the day, but obviously his commentary skills. You know, him and JR as a team. I love them together.
I couldn't stand him when he first came out on Raw. Like, he annoyed the crap out of me. Of course, Bret Hart fan, and
Sure.
they have the feud or whatever going on. I was like, man, what is it? He was
I
like,
thought it was so corny though that
didn't
he
say.
feuded with Bret Hart at the time because I pictured like I didn't again at the time just being young, not really knowing who
Right.
Jerry the King Lawler is, but not really realizing his history.
right.
Like really, Bret Hart is going against like a commentator.
I mean,
Like,
Oh,
what?
overweight.
so
Right.
Overweight out of
But
shape.
it has even Bret Hart and
Bob Backlund was the
Bob
other one.
Backlund,
Yeah,
back
it was
in the
like
yeah. Now,
Bret
the
Hart, Ric
interesting
Flair.
thing
It's like, hey.
is, Jerry the King never wore a belt, never won any gold, never won a championship at all.
in
However,
WWE or like in
any
ever.
ever. However, Honky Tonk Man, self-proclaimed best intercontinental champion ever, right? A run of what, 454 straight days.
I wouldn't say the best ever.
That's
Oh,
what he
self-proclaimed.
self-proclaimed,
Self-proclaimed.
right? 454 day title reign.
I think the Warrior took that though at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
That was the
Yeah.
minute 26
Yeah.
second match or something. Like
Right.
That. Yeah.
A squash match.
Came to the end. So that's who I'm going with. I'm going with the Armstrongs and the Lawlers. I left out the Flair family. I don't know. There's just only a
It's
couple
Ric
of
Flair
them.
and Charlotte Flair.
It's pretty. Yeah, David never really did anything.
But I do also like the Rocks family, the Samoans. I don't know how to
bloodline.
say it. Yeah, the bloodline.
Bloodline. That's kind of, I mean, to this day, I mean, really thinking about the lineage and the history
Yeah.
and all that of that family, that's got to be them and the Hearts.
Right.
I mean, that would be probably
Yeah.
1 and 2. But McMahon's obviously the most.
Of course, they sit on the throne.
the
Right.
industry. Yeah, definitely. Cool. What else is going on, Tom?
What else do we have here? So we have, I mean, yeah, the rumor match for AEW in Chicago next week. I'm looking forward to most is the Chris Jericho versus Daniel Bryan. They've only wrestled like 2 times, and I find that kind of shocking to believe. It's like they've crossed paths with NXT and stuff, but they never really had a true feud. And like that's going to bring you back to some Calgary Stampede kind of wrestling matches.
Sure.
If you like that, I know you're not a big Bryan fan, but you do like Y2J.
Yeah.
So he is. Yeah, he is the wizard, and I truly appreciate Jericho.
Yeah.
I should get one of those
Chris
shirts.
Jericho he's one of those wrestlers that is everything that he says that he is, or at least was during that time
Right.
that he said it.
The Ayatollah rock and roll.
I mean, he lives his gimmick. That's just him. He's the rock star, and he can transform just like a lot of them do. They reinvent themselves, and
He has constantly done it, and each time, great. I think now with the whole wizard thing, where he kind of brings back something from the past, it's intriguing because he's getting towards the tail end of his career.
so interesting though, right? So your main events, as they initially were laid out, though, once again, John Moxley and CM Punk and Chris Jericho and Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan.
Whatever.
Right. So here now, Jericho isn't a pillar, but he's obviously was
One of the original,
One of the
the big
original,
names to
yeah, but
give him
again-
notoriety.
ex-WWE guys.
Right.
Built their name and star power in WWE.
I mean, that's what WCW did. Is you had the fan base, but okay, now they brought in Hogan. Now they brought in Macho Man. All right, I'm going to start tuning into this. And then Vince made the big mistake of making fun of them and acknowledging them.
Right.
And once he did that, all of a sudden, more people are like, screw you, Vince. And then once Vince realized what he did, where in essence fucked up,
Yeah.
then it's like, okay,
Do you
Dave
think it was
Shawn
the
and
fake Diesel and the fake Razor Ramon that did it?
actually, you know what it was? It was actually WrestleMania. It was around WrestleMania 12, where they were doing the Nacho Man and the Huckster.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And the fake Ted Turner, Billionaire Ted or whatever gimmick.
Yeah.
That's what really started to repulse the fans. And then more so later on with the whole fake
Yeah, 'cause
Diesel.
I heard that he had said they're idiots. They're not going to know the difference anyway. So I'll put out, which ended up being Kane, right? The fake
yeah.
Diesel and being Kane. Man, I wish he would go back to being fake Diesel. 'Cause he's not doing himself any.
Or just be back to Kane where he didn't talk.
Yes, I actually commented on his Twitter. You had this whole rant about whatever political stance he was taking. I was like, and he said, "This isn't the America that I grew up in or that I remember." And I said, I wish my America was still when you wore a mask and didn't say crap.
My name's King.
He did do that,
He
right?
did that for a while.
Yeah, he had a tracheotomy.
Your tracheotomy, and all of a sudden, yeah, his face not
The
so much
big
better.
reveal with the burnt face that was just black makeup and a half-shaved head.
The wig comes
Right?
off.
Yeah. Anthony Collin, how are you, brother? Thanks for tuning in, man.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Anthony.
Yeah, feel free to come on down to the studio and slap me sometime. It's all
Yep,
right.
we got some chops you can do here, and as long as you go woo after each chop,
Then maybe Tim will let you do it.
nah. I'm a spectator.
So, mate, you guys got to be around on Sunday for the reject rundown, or at least be ready for me to send you a link. They want to challenge. Let me tell you something, brother, on picks on the next pay-per-views. So they want to see who will take home the championship belt. They were drooling over your belt too, by the way. I was like, oh man, who's
Okay, this is our belt.
That's right.
Right. This isn't.
Where's their belt?
Well, their belt.
It's easy to come and challenge us. We
They
have to go.
They have one of these.
So we get the tie. Hey, this belt looks way better than the Big W belt. The only one that would wear that belt is either Wario from Mario Brothers. Who else would want a Big W? Maybe Wardlow, but maybe. Future. I can see him.
I like
but-
that one. I'd wear that.
You can flip it upside down and be a big M.
Oh, screw the Miz.
That's it. Anthony says, "Hey Tom, got a question. Are you liking all the returns Triple H is having?"
All the returns. I mean, so far so good. He got Bailey back with and had Dakota Sky and Kai and Sky, whatever I call them.
Yeah.
And I mean, what he's doing with Dexter, didn't care for him in NXT, but kind of intrigued with what he did there. You know what? Honestly, the guy coming from the crowd last night, no idea who the other guy was. I
So the rumor was he's nobody.
just
Just
someone,
somebody, just to put in, just to distract the security.
and then Gargano. That was a great surprise. No rumors going on. Like
Now, isn't that something? Because I swear, you can't. Social media and the wrestling fan base, they know what you're going to order from Panera Bread, and it's out there.
Right.
But here, Gargano, it was a big deal because a lot of people thought he's showing up on AEW tomorrow.
right.
It's in his home state, I believe, or home city of
Cleveland, yeah.
Right? So it was kind of WWE saying, nope,
And
not so
there's-
fast. If you thought that was going to happen, it ain't going
Right.
to. So don't worry about watching to see that happen because it's not going to happen.
Because I think there was even rumors too back in when AEW and WWE were in Orlando or somewhere in Florida. Yeah, a couple wrestlers from each organization like posting pictures of them with Gargano, going, "Hey, look who I'm with." Kind of, is he appearing tomorrow night? They're even helping tease him. Who knows? Maybe they were helping him get more money from Triple H, and who knows if he actually outbid. I doubt he outbid Tony Khan, but probably promised him more.
So what's the time frame, right? So Steph and Triple H come in, and are they just is it supposed to be like, oh, or are they saying, hey man, by WrestleMania, are we ramping up? What's their time frame? So as a fan, should I be upset that it's not moving fast right now, or as a fan, should I be like, ooh, this is right where it should be?
So I think that as a fan, what you should be doing is, as the WWE fan, I'm not. So the question was to Tom, are you liking all the returns Triple H is having? Honestly, as the WWE fan, I'm not necessarily. It's not that I don't like them.
Yeah.
They're not. They're intriguing. There's a little like mystery behind. Okay, so why Karrion Kross?
Right.
Of anybody that you could have, why bring him back? I mean Johnny Gargano, he's a great wrestler, so I can see that, technical wrestler, whatever.
And now they're actually using the term wrestling again. And
Right, so they're
wrestlers.
using all these phrases and they're kind of just slowly feeding you breadcrumbs, right? There's going to be a big payoff. And likely the payoff is going to happen at Clash at the Castle with maybe a Bray Wyatt return or something like that. I feel like these are all just setting up for the big return of a major star, and then it'll level out and the stories will take place with the people that have returned mixing with the new people. He cannot get caught up in, we need a new person to debut, a surprise debut every Raw, every SmackDown, because then he will be pulling a Kahn, and then it's gonna stall. It's not gonna be. There's not that many exciting
Right,
people out
it was
there,
the
really.
flavor of the week, and then boom, gone.
So I think he's just slowly feeding us, getting you to tune in, and there's going to be a big payoff, and then that's where it's going to level off and the story builds. So I would say by the next pay-per-view, if not like Survivor Series, kind of being the cap to build towards the Rumble, to WrestleMania, and all the pieces are in place.
And that's where I see more. I think this is kind of, until WrestleMania, is still a little bit Vince.
Mm-hmm.
And then it'll be Triple H and Stephanie after WrestleMania.
See, everything's cyclical, right? So I think we got to see more factions right now.
I
Sure.
love factions.
Right. So right now the Bloodline, you've got that's the Wolf Pack, that's NWO, that's
The DX
The
and Heart
DX,
Foundation. And all.
so you've got a great faction right there, and they hold the title. All right, cool. I think we got to see more factions in both platforms, AEW and in the WWE, because then you have the chance to build and see who comes out of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, we had the Four Horsemen, way back in the day, right?
Yeah.
So they had factions back.
Many versions of the Horseman.
Yeah, many versions. And then what pops out of them is, oh, this guy's a star. This guy's a star.
Yeah.
Here comes,
You have your 2 or 3 base stars,
Yep.
and they.
Yep.
And that's
so,
like.
So if they're smart, I think if they're smart, which I mean, let's be honest, I don't do the talent and creative part of these.
I think Triple H and Shawn Michaels are more in tune with the audience and current day. While Vince he was just out there.
Yeah, but that's what I want to see. Moving up to WrestleMania is, let's get a bunch of factions in here.
Sure.
And let's start some slobber knockers.
Yeah. I just want if it's going to go faction direction, just make the factions make sense.
Right.
Don't just start lumping people together for the sake of lumping people together.
Right.
Which is
Yeah,
or
they'll
isn't
be all
happening.
turned out. And
Right.
Right.
So it looks like Anthony has a follow-up question there.
All right, here we go. What does he say? With the rumors of Kahn wanting WWE moving to Netflix, would that be a good move?
I wouldn't mind it because then I could cancel my cable bill, my cable TV, and just.
So you know what? I miss the WWE Network. So yeah.
Oh, you don't
so,
like Peacock?
I mean, Peacock is fine, right? But there was something about just like clicking on that W or whatever, and
Right.
watching WWE Network. So if it goes to Netflix in that sort of form or fashion where it has its own. Now it does on Peacock,
Right.
but there's
But
just
it's
something
not
about
the same,
it. It's just
right.
not doesn't feel the same.
It doesn't. Yeah.
No. So I think Netflix would kind of bring it back to maybe that feeling of a worthwhile subscription and other.
And hopefully unedited stuff.
Yeah.
And,
So I think Netflix just being the unedited things, like I think it's a better platform for what if they're going to be a TV 14 type of program and
Right.
kind of push those limits a little bit. Netflix is going to be the right place for it, and I'm all for that. So I grew up with the Attitude Era. I don't mind my son or whatever watching a little bit of pushing the envelope a little bit. So if they have the freedom to do that on Netflix, then I'm all for it.
oh, and that's where would it be where they record the show and just air it live on Monday, or a certain time on Monday, or would they actually still shoot it live? Are they going to do the commercial breaks and that kind of stuff? It's
Yeah.
just going to be every Monday is going to be a pay-per-view now because Netflix doesn't have commercials.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe
yeah,
is
they got
Netflix
30
going to streaming actual TV like Hulu does? Maybe that's something in the future where they have actual.
Right, Amazon Prime or
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if it's in moving in that direction, because you take away the live stuff, everything's given away on social media
Right.
Yeah.
whenever something happens. So you're gonna totally lose that element of surprise.
And you're not going to want to tune in. Oh, it's Monday night at midnight. It's up now. You're not going to want to watch from 2 a.m. to 3 a.m.
Right.
to watch it. It's,
Yeah, you would.
So I suppose that
You would.
I would not. No, I'll go back to when I didn't have cable and my dad used to record it on VHS tape, and I watched it the next night.
to answer the question, so I suppose just depending on the direction Netflix goes as a station and what that means for WWE, I don't see anything wrong with it other than as long as they keep a live element to it. They have to have that.
Yeah. There's just something about watching it live on Monday, right? Instead of replayed.
And like the rumor mill was that's where AEW is possibly going to join up with HBO Max, which I really hope they do. But they can do more of the non-live stuff.
Yeah,
I think
Yeah.
they could get away with
they
that.
already do that.
Oh, they do. with Rampage and stuff. But I mean, I see them in the smaller promotions that would really benefit them more.
Sure.
Like TNA, I used to love watching TNA Impact.
I still watched. Oh, you meant wrestling.
Get your mind out of the gutter. Are your Crocs strapped? Make sure your Crocs are still strapped on.
Sport mode.
But I mean, yeah, it's just like I think if some of these smaller promotions get one of those kind of streaming deals with either Amazon Prime, Netflix, or Hulu, it'll help create more awareness for them, and you'll start seeing other talent like, oh, hey, I remember seeing Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
I remember watching him. And
Yeah.
what's he doing now? Like, oh, he's on TV. Okay, I'll take a look and see what he's doing. And oh, hey, there's this other wrestler now I kind of like. I mean, that's kind of how they always got you with. They bring you in with the big name, and then you start seeing their other future stars.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Right now, that you go factions, and then you can break some of these younger people in between. You know.
That's what Jericho's been doing with his groups, and that's where, like we were talking before. It's like right now, you have Ronda as the hot heel. She already kind of had paths crossed with Shayna.
Yeah.
And I just think, I mean, crap, I just forgot her name. You get Sonya Deville, and there's your threesome. There's your women's faction right there.
Standing ovation.
Oh. But I'm still sitting.
So, all right. So we have a pay-per-view full weekend coming up, Labor Day weekend. Some people love the fact that WWE has moved to Saturdays, and all rest of the year pay-per-views are Saturdays. And then you have All Out.
All Out on Sunday.
All Out on Sunday. So big weekend. Is NXT doing a?
I thought
pay-per-view?
NXT was doing something.
I thought they were too, but they're coming off of a pretty good Tuesday.
It may be like
whatever.
NXT UK kind of thing.
Yeah, speaking of that, shout out Mandy Rose, over 300 days NXT Women's Champion. She's up there with the
Trish.
Yeah, she's smoking. So good to see.
Great athlete.
Good to see. Great athlete.
Great athlete.
Yep, great
Watching her
personality.
and Trish have a match, that would be that's a WrestleMania moment right there.
That is. Doesn't even have to be WrestleMania. It'll still be the moment. But sorry, so we got big paper. Just be a moment. All right, so pay-per-view trivia. All right, we're gonna stump Tom here.
Oh, go ahead.
All right. Hang on, I got to get to the answer page so I know what the answers are.
I'll tell you the answer. You
Okay.
need to go.
All right. Which of these is considered the second biggest WWE event of the year after? Boom. Got it. In what year did the Survivor Series commence? A, 1987,
88.
88, 89, or 90?
89.
No, Survivor.
89.
You got 89 over there? 87, 88, 89, 90?
88. It's probably 87.
87.
Ooh.
Which of these is not among, well, this is easy, not among the big four pay-per-view events? Is it SummerSlam, TLC, WrestleMania? All right, yeah, you got it. All right, let's see here. Which WWE pay-per-view event involves an Andre the Giant dedication match? Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, Money in the Bank, or TLC?
Mania.
Mania is right. Which WWE event involves a lack of set of rules and guidelines?
Extreme Rules.
All right, yeah, let's see here. Let's see if we can get one here. Which WWE pay-per-view has the longest run time? SummerSlam.
WrestleMania 2 days.
All right, okay. This will be a good one. This will get them. In what year was the first ever Royal Rumble event held? 1985, 86, 87, or 88?
86.
86.
Both of you 86?
Yeah.
88.
That's what I said. Anthony says Mandy should be on the good physique side.
Yes.
Beyond
right.
good.
So Tom proves once again it's really hard to stump Tom. He is the encyclopedia of all things
Just not
WWE.
really great with years.
Not great with years. That's okay, though. We were just kids.
I know the era.
Yeah. It was in the late 80s.
Get
Just
you-
all the
get
answers
you into
late
the
80s.
ballpark.
All right.
All right.
Well, so, challenge issued, challenge accepted to the reject rundown. we will gladly accept that challenge. We'll have Kent kind of set it up for us. We'll come up with the cards, the final cards, and then we'll pick
How do we
the
know
winners.
Kent's not going to turn on us like every other manager and producer?
Never know. You never know.
Because this is the #1 show on
Because I
21
could totally
69.
picture Kent like either behind the board or on the sound, like, "Oh, Tom can't hear you. Tim can't hear you," or mistranslate what we typed. And like,
This is the flagship Twitter show for 2169.
That is, baby.
So you can't turn your back on us after one. I mean,
take
come on.
that question you never thought you could ask.
That's
Speaking
right.
of turning your back, our profile picture on Twitter, Tom. I know you haven't seen it, but
I
it's
haven't.
Shawn Michaels super kick
Tony
and
the
Marty
Kid.
Jannetty through the.
Oh, I'm just glad it wasn't Shawn Michaels with
Hey.
a sharpshooter.
Hey,
Then.
Tony the Kid says, "Let's go, let's go."
Let's go.
Whenever.
Yeah, absolutely. It's on, dude. It's not for this championship though.
Yeah, not for that belt.
Not for that one.
They say they got one.
it is
In,
one.
Hey.
they say they got one in my.
I'll sacrifice Tom's belt.
Hey. No.
They got theirs out of a box of Fruit Loops. They're made out of box tops.
Hey, you guys already chopped me.
Loser gets chopped.
You already chopped me. That's
Loser
not
gets
fair.
chopped. I like it. I like
Loser
it. On
gets
the
chopped.
show,
I
you got
got
to show up
chopped.
on our show. Loser gets
I already
chopped.
got chopped.
All
I
right,
got
loser
chopped
gets
for free.
chopped.
Is it? What, you going to lose, Tom?
I'm not going to lose. I just
Nah,
don't
you
like
get
that
to
I give
chop
away
'em
free
back.
chop.
Chop him back, dude. We got it.
You're going to get it. You're going to chop them.
We got it.
I got 2 words for you.
2 tears in a bucket.
Suck it. There you go.
Goodbye.
That's it. Down to the last minute here on Let Me Tell You Something, Brother. Of course, tomorrow morning.
Actually, you're next.
Stop on in for Innovative Strategies at 9 a.m. with Bill Hasse. And then at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon, you got questions you never
No,
thought
you
you could ask
don't.
church. It's going to be a
Yeah,
best of.
yeah.
They're not coming in studio. It's going to be the best of. So
Tune in to our show instead.
there you go.
Rewatch
the
our
replay. Watch the replay. That is it. All right. What else we got? Anything on the last side of it here, fellas?
Well, last thing again, don't forget to follow us on at Let Me Tell You 216.
Let me tell you 216.
LEMMETLLYA 216.
Let me tell you 216 with the @ sign in front of it. That's our Twiddle handle.
Twiddle.
It's easy
Twiddle.
for you to say. Twitter handle. And hey, for all of you twits out there who have joined us tonight for our first live stream out there on Twitter, we can't thank you enough for being part of Let Me Tell You Something, Brother, the ultimate in pro wrestling and sports entertainment show right here. Every second and fourth Tuesday. This happens to be the fourth Tuesday. So there you go.
We're going to have a lot to talk about in the next show because we got like a 3-week break.
It's going to be crazy. Here we go.
Oh, yeah.
Let's get out of here.
Are you ready?
No.
You think you can tell us what to do? You think you can tell us what to wear? You think that you're better? Well, you better get ready. Bow to the